Hey, what's up? What's
What
up?
it is, gang, 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 gang. TCP
Yeah.
cast.
Yeah, TCP, Jonisha Green, and your boy D. We're back. Look,
We're
we
back.
do apologize for last week, but we just had to learn our radio system,
Mm.
and we're still in this learning curve.
And yes, we said radio.
Yes,
Finally,
yes.
radio. I know
I
y'all
know
was scared.
some of you probably already seen the post. I didn't post any dates we're going to be broadcasting, but guess what? We're going live the last Saturday of this month. Look, I am super excited.
Live.
Joe, we've been talking about this for how long?
Baby, the whole time, the whole year that we've
The
been
whole year.
up in this podcast life. But before we get into all of that, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to us on YouTube as well as Facebook, where you can get all the new and upcoming events. Also, if you are needing a space on our radio broadcast,
Hit us up.
that is where you get that information, and you will be updated when we have more updates to give you guys, how to sow a seed or um,
Partner with us.
partner with us.
Yes,
Yeah, we are moving to some places this year,
absolutely.
and it is all
And
because of you.
you. And guess what, Joe? We have a blank canvas. So, I mean, those who jump in now, they get prime time.
Prime time. You want to be, this is what I'm saying, to be grandfathered in an up and coming new company is what you want, because the things that you get, you're going to be able to get later. So you want to
Absolutely.
do it now. By all means, we want you guys to become a partner with us now and just be a part of the growth that's happening. I am going to just go on and declare that there will be 10,000 subscribers before the year is out on YouTube, so that we can do more live things on YouTube and you guys can come with us and flow with us, and we can take you guys along. But we have to have so many subscribers, so I'm just going to declare 10,000. We're going for the
Oh,
10,000.
yeah.
Grow, baby, grow. Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing of it is that the more you subscribe, the more you watch. Even if you catch us on a replay, it builds up our viewership.
Yeah,
And we're trying to monetize this thing. I really want to come off one of my jobs. Here's a one.
baby, let's go for our,
Yeah.
let's come for our
Um,
jobs, create jobs. We want to
yeah.
do that. We want
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Want to come off the jobs and move forward and things like this. This has been a passion of mine for a good minute, and has been a passion of Jonisha's for a good minute.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that later on in the broadcast. But I would like to say to you all that on the 26th of this month,
Mhm.
we will be celebrating a year as being a company. And also, we will be celebrating our partner's birthday, Jonisha Green, which her birthday was yesterday, which was the 17th of March. But we're going to be celebrating it on the 26th of March. And the reason being is because she is going to be transitioning to where?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. She's been transitioned there, and we're gonna give her a going away celebration. But just because she's moved to North Carolina does not mean that she is not part of us. Actually, this is an expansion to
Yes.
another place. So we're definitely excited about that. And we're going to be going live on the 26th for those of you who will not be able to be there, but you will be able to participate. And also, you can participate and you can give, do all of that. We would love you to bless us and to partner with us. This is good ground, and I'm not saying because this is my thing or Jonisha's thing or Cheryl's thing. I'm saying because it is a good ground. It is a good place to soak into. But we definitely gonna dive into our conversation tonight. And
before you go into that, those that have RSVP, we will be getting the address. I know some of you guys said that the address was not on the RSVP, so I had a lot of questions about where is it going to be. We wanted to wait till people RSVP so we could send those addresses out to the actual people that RSVP, because we only have so many seats. Sorry guys, so you have to RSVP because food will be there, and you have to give a count. And guys, COVID,
actually the RSVP form was updated because the first time we put out the address wasn't put on there, but it is on there. So if they go back and look at the form, it's on there. But just in case you all didn't, those who registered the first time, RSVP the first time, you didn't see it, the address is 130 Old Denmark Road. It is Inspiring Ministry International, where the leaders is Apostle Erica and Eric, excuse me, not Erica, Apostle Eric and Rebecca Newble. Y'all, please forgive me for that. That was not intentional.
She done spoke to who was Apostle Erica? Baby, first of all, he probably sounds from Patty. Apostle Erica, whoever you are, we believe.
In reality, I want to make sure that I was going to add Sister Rebecca in there. And in my mind, Rebecca, Eric, Erica.
Eric, Rebecca. So you put the end of her name on the end of Apostle's name.
Yeah. So it's definitely going to be there. Apostle, forgive me, bro. That was not intentional. Seriously. But we're about to dive into this conversation. And I'm not going to tell you no story, public. I'm kind of in my feelings. I am kind of, not in a bad way.
Lord, I think it may be this music, you guys. He gets feelings because of this music.
No, this music.
And y'all wonder about my head, baby. I just say I'm celebrating for the rest of this month. So yes, I am wearing my celebration hat. I told someone I wanted to wear a hat on my birthday, and they decided to be petty and give me this little hat, so I decided to support it.
But it's not the music, not for me. Because actually, the music I just feel it mellowed out. But the reality is, like, one of my best friends is going to be transitioning. She's moving. My sister, we have been rocking hard for years, and that's gonna be part of the conversation. So we're gonna dive into it. As you probably know, the conversation for tonight is called The Move. And we're going to be talking about the move, and not just her move, but the move, period. So, period. Yeah. So, we want to start off the conversation talking about Rare Image and how it came to pass. So, Joe, what do you remember?
I remember, actually, I was already doing Car Chronicles. And I had been doing it for a solid year, and I took a sabbatical. And my brother decided to have a conversation. He said, hey, you really need to get back on your Car Chronicles. And I've been thinking about this. I think we need to start radio. And I said, that sounds good, but it sounds hard. How about we do a podcast? Like, that's slick what I've already been doing. I feel like I've been declaring at that time that I was a radio personality, and the podcast was like me getting used to talking to the people, sort of putting my personality out there for people to grasp and understand who I was. So that was my whole reasoning for even starting Car Chronicles, for my old heads, my OGs that remember my Car Chronicles, 30 minutes a day, every Wednesday. I think I was doing it every Wednesday for 30 minutes. And then when God would sporadically have me come on any other time, that I would just come on and give you encouragement. But I had took a sabbatical because I just didn't want to be repetitious and just get on there just saying something and I didn't hear anything. And he was like, "You really need to get back on that." And I was like, "I don't know." And so he was like, "Okay, this is what we need to do before we start our radio company. While we get things up, we need to just go on there, introduce ourselves so that they can know who I am, who you are." And I was like, "Okay, we could do it, I guess." Because at that time I was still hesitant. I had stopped going live at all. Yeah, I had just went
Yes,
through a
you did.
period where I was just like, I don't know if I was shut down or closed in. I don't even know what it was. I
I
think
think you were
everybody
just
started
tired. I think you was
doing
tired. And I
yeah.
remember someone had stole your title to your podcast, and you was like really, well, your Car Chronicles. You were really frustrated. Like, why are you calling it the same thing I call mine? Like, you could have came up with another name. And they was doing something similar to what you was doing. Like, okay, but why? And it was kind of discouraging because you knew this person personally, and it was like, okay, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And so, but Joe gave the pretty version of it. Let me tell you, let me tell you the nitty gritty. So I can't. Part of what she said, that part was true. I came to her and I said, "Hey, this, what she said," and I said, "Let's do radio." And she's like, "Well, I've been talking to so and so, and he said podcasting is where it's at." And I was like, "I think radio is where it's at." I'm like, honestly speaking, I believe you got the voice for it. And she was like, "Well, yeah, but Darnell, they said that we could get on Patreon." Remember you told me about Patreon? That's the first
Yes.
time I heard about
Okay.
Patreon. And then you was like, and Darnell, I already have a following on Facebook, so we could just do this right here. And we was kind of, there was a little tension there.
Yeah.
And I said, I tell you what, and it was funny because we both was finna say the same thing at the same time. Let's do it all. And so I was like, okay, you do your podcasting and I do the radio.
And we
And
just
she's
have
like,
production company.
yeah, we're just gonna have our production company because we trying to figure out how we was gonna do Rare Image. It was gonna be just a media company. It was gonna be a production company. And I was like, well, Joe, why not just make it all in one? And so
Yeah.
we were sitting down together with some pizza and some dessert, trying to hash out ideas. Papers are all over my living room floor. We were writing down stuff. She was writing down stuff. And then we both struggled with our little ADD. We would view off topic.
Baby, so many times.
And so what started out at 7 o'clock ended at 1 o'clock in the morning. And we finally came up with the idea. And so once the tension caused something to be birthed, it was like an aha moment in my living room of my house. And so we was talking about, remember this is how Rare Image came into place. We was talking about our the way we felt, dealing with people, how often we are overlooked, and all the time people need us or around when they know that we have connection or we can help push their ideas and things like that.
Or after something fell through and they didn't have nobody else.
Yeah.
Then we were the afterthought.
The afterthought. And we were just sitting there just talking, and we was like, we don't want our platform to be what everybody else does. We want to make sure that the unheard, the overlooked, the unrecognized, all those people, the people who were different,
Yeah.
but they had something in them that could bless the world. And
Yeah.
also, we want to make sure that small churches and small businesses have a place where they can advertise their business, advertise their ministries,
Yeah.
um, without a whole lot of expensive
Overhead. A whole bunch of
overhead.
overhead because at the
Mhm.
time these radio stations was they was pulling through, and we was just like we started naming people, different people we knew
Mhm.
that just had so much knowledge but didn't have the platform,
They have the
or
platform.
nobody ever um there was like a secret gem,
Right.
and we were just talking about different treasures just in people that we knew
Yeah.
personally that just don't have a platform, don't even know how to work platforms, baby. They ain't into all that. They just do what they do. They just know what they
They don't even
know.
know what you mentioned the word platform. They
They're like,
think
what's
about
that?
shoes. What's that? You talking about them shoes they wore back in the 70s?
So we were just like, those people need to be seen, you know? So we up there trying to figure out, my brother is crazy. We up there trying to figure out names. And I think we started like we said something rare. It's like a red gem. So it was like red gem, red da da da. And we couldn't even figure out a name at that time. And I think my brother called was like, Joe. And I was like, what? Rare image. And I was like,
She came up with the rare, and we was talking about vision and insight. And when we left the meeting, we knew what we wanted to do, but we just didn't have a name for the company. She's like,
right.
rare. I'm like, we rare jewel, rare this, rare that. And it just didn't jail. And it was the next day. The next day, I believe I called and woke her up, and she was like, I don't get up this early. What do you want? And I'm like, Joe,
I'm
y'all
not
gotta know
ready.
me. Y'all have to know me.
He's
Joe.
early. He's a bird. He's an early bird. I'm a night
Yes.
owl. Birds and owls don't talk.
No, no. One is sleep during the night, and the other is awake at night.
Yes,
That's her.
that's me.
Yeah, that's her. And so I called her. I said, Joe, just wake up. I know you. I know you don't want to be awakened at this time. I know you left the house at 1 o'clock in the morning. I said, but I got an idea. And she's like, what? I said, okay. Remember you kept talking about rare. I said, what about rare image? And it's like she woke up then. It was just like
I
bam.
was like, and he's like,
Mhm.
then, you know what I'm saying? Since we talking about image got to do with your vision.
The perception.
You know, he
What you
deep,
see.
y'all. Y'all know he got to give you a definition for every word he used.
Yeah. Well, I know this girl is not talking.
You
One day
call
we
me
gonna
deep, but it's really you. You be the deep, but you encyclopedia slick.
I think we both
You know
are.
you is. That's why you be laughing. Because you
just
know I'm just you, y'all. We gotta have definitions for everything. Like if you thinking about the preamble, he gonna say the preamble part B and section 1 says, and I'll be like,
see, look, I know you can't see through my glass. You see how I'm looking at you? It was just an exciting moment, and it was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and we didn't realize there was gonna be some hoops we had to jump through. So, in reality, if you look at our emails and our Cash App is Rare Image 26, because in reality, the company was started on the 26th. I think it was January. And we thought that we was gonna be able to go and get licensed. Everything gonna be super cheap,
baby.
Let me tell you something. Get information for yourself. Do not always take into consideration when people share with you, and they get your hopes and your dreams high. And you go down to the courthouse, and they be like, "Well, we need $350, sir." I was told just 15. And so,
because first of all, okay, depending on your clout, and it's just honest, some things people don't have to go. They don't know they went through it because other people are doing it for them,
Mhm.
or because they're so well known, people are after them. So
Right.
they give them certain discounts because they know if their name is attached to it, then it's already going to be a certain thing for them. So the information I was getting these things from was from a very, very well-known person that, you know, got Grammys and Stellas, and I mean, not Grammys, but Stellas and Dove Awards, baby. So people want them. So they probably did get into them for $15.
They
But
probably did.
for
Or
the regular old
somebody
us,
paid whatever needed to be paid, and all they had to do was to go up there and hey, drop this off because somebody already.
sure. But you
I'm
know
sorry, you
when they
all. It was.
want, but companies when they want promotionals, you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? They get folks to hook up because they
Yeah,
know at the end they're gonna make the money.
yeah. So that's basically what I think it was January. I maybe it was before then, but I do know that it was on the 26th when we came together and decided, and everything was flowed because it was crazy when we came up with the word rare. The time was 26. It was the 26th of that month. It just seemed like everything was like bam, bam, bam. Like it just gotta be it because the way things was like lining up and all that type of stuff. So and
Yeah.
yes, that was kind of weird. And I know y'all like, okay, Jonisha's right, he is a little deep, but that's the way it was looking for us. That's the way it was looking for us. And so when we started, I don't know if Joe remember, I was like, we just gonna introduce ourselves to the world and that's gonna be it. And Joe, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start building up the radio broadcast. I said, but I'm going to support you in your podcast. I'm gonna boost you up. I'm gonna boost you up. Your name gonna be here, and we're gonna put it on the page because we created a page. And I did do that, the Car Chronicles. And she called me when I posted the Car Chronicles. First of all, y'all, I'm not really a graphic artist, but I try my best because that's a whole nother story. When me and Jolie talk about how people are funny actors to those who are not known, and they only want to do right by those who are known. So I'm trying my best to get to this graphic artist thing, artistry thing, and create this. And she called me that day I posted about the Car Chronicles coming soon to a theater near you. She called me. She's like, "What's that for?" I was like, "Yo, I mean, you know, we getting this thing started, and so I'm trying to push Car Chronicles for what?" I'm like, "What you mean for what?" And this is what she said to me. This is so funny because she said that phase of my life is dead. I said, "No, it ain't." She said, and I didn't get it at this time. She said that phase of my life is dead, and she began to explain how Car Chronicles came into being, and I knew why it ended, or you know, it didn't end it, but why it was on pause. And she said, "What are we doing?" And I was like, "What do you mean, what we doing?" I know I'm doing a lot of talking right now. Y'all please excuse me because this is so funny. Because I wasn't expecting it. She said, we are doing us right now.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that was the guys, first of all, let me just tell you a little history about Car Chronicles and why that phase was dead. Because let me help you. Let me help you and my brother. Car Chronicles was a phase in my life where it was therapeutic. It was a place where I was at a job that was very, very trying, and I was about to lose my mind. And literally the only way I got through day to day was to come and talk to my people on Car Chronicles. And that was my hour break. I would take 30 minutes of my break, and I was able to talk out issues, situations that came up. And it helped me understand why I was talking, because a lot of times when I'll be talking and encouraging people, I would get revelation during the Car Chronicle, just saying, hey, this is what happened to me today. And it would help other people. So that was the whole thing with the Car Chronicles. Well, once we started the podcast, my life had changed. I had changed jobs. I no longer had an hour to do Car Chronicles. I only had a 30-minute break, and by the time the way the building was made, by the time I walked to the front door, it was 30 minutes. So it was all of that. I was sometimes struggling in the car areas. I didn't even have no car talking. Okay. So praise God. So I just told my brother, like, at this time, then, you know, COVID had hit. Everybody was online. Everybody had a Car Chronicle. And I was just like, people are really to this Car Chronicles. And I didn't feel the urge anymore to do a Car Chronicle, because I'm like, now it's a fad. Like, that was a thing. And people just on there just talking that Saturday neck. And I don't want to be one of those. So I was just like, and of course, being where image is so apropos for us, because we never want to be like everybody else. We always been like the outskirts of everybody else. Like if you're Atlanta, we're making. You know what I'm saying? We're
Right.
outside. We're not quite
Right.
into Atlanta. We can move about in that place, but we're not quite all the way in. We're like on the outskirts. And that's just how we always have it. I don't want to do things because other people are doing things. That's not where I'm called. That's not my metron. My metron is to grab those that other people feel aren't touchable.
Yeah.
Because there was a point in my life where people felt like they couldn't touch me. But then when they found out I had certain gifts that could add on or push what they had, then I was no longer a leopard. But other than that, I was the leopard. And so I just don't, when you are a leopard per se, and I'm not saying I am a leopard or have some kind of infectious disease or anything like that, but when you are considered a leopard and you're on the outside, you're not an inside person. You don't have to be in the inside crowd, because you've learned to cope with being on the outside.
Right. Right.
So we just decided to use that. Like, we don't have to be in the in crowd, because there is so much beauty on the outside, and we just need other people to see it. And I think that's where the whole Car Chronicle thing, yes, I asked them, what are you doing? Because that part of my life is over, and now this whole online thing is a fad. I don't want that. So we're going to do this together, sir. And I just don't even want to be on camera. I don't.
And when she said that, I was like, why? What's wrong with you? Like, you doing so well. And she's like, no. And
I don't want to talk to the people. I don't want to have to. I don't want to.
It is so funny because I want to piggyback on something Joseph just said a few minutes ago about being different. When she said that, my mind just went back. I did a mental flight. As a church folks say, just take a mental flight. And so I took a mental flight, and I thought about my friends. My friends always been different. I hung around who most people call the weird group.
Me too.
And so we complement each other in a lot of ways. And we didn't have the latest gear as far as clothing and shoes, and some of us couldn't afford to get a hair did or a haircut on a regular basis, but we complement each other and we encourage each other. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I first moved here from Florida, and I believe I had spoke about the whole bullying situation and things like that. And I remember this tall girl. She was extremely tall. Her name was Barbara. And Barbara became my friend.
Hello, Shirley.
Look, that's why I started laughing, because that song stuck with me. I start smiling. I want to laugh because I heard that in my head. So her name was Barbara, and Barbara was she was not strange. She was just different. And I remember when people would make little comments by her, but that girl held me down the first year that I lived here.
Mm.
And I remember I went through a phase I really wanted to fit in because moving from another city to another state in another, all that type of stuff. And I remember wanting to fit in, and I got with these group of guys, and I remember like, God, I'm saved, and I was already like looked at being weird. But when I told them that I was saved, that became a bigger issue because they felt like, oh, you think you better than us? I didn't know how I thought I was better, but she complimented me. She encouraged me. She was, when I didn't know it was depression at the time, Joe, but like moments of depression, like she was there. So not just only her, man. I had a spectrum of. It's like what I mean by spectrum, I mean a spectrum. Like some of them were like they was weird, Joe, no doubt. But I love them guys, and
that's so funny when you saying that. It's so funny how God grew both of us in the same way to come to this space. Because remember, my mom died when I was 7, and I had to move to another city, another school, to a place I didn't know, and I was the weird one, and nobody knew me, but I sort of hung close to my sister, which is another CEO of ours, Cheryl, and she was like my savior for everything. Could nobody pick with me or nothing, because all I had to do was tell Cheryl, and she was gonna get on them. And I finally found a few friends, but they were all of the quiet people nobody hung with, or maybe they were the goth girls that dressed in all black. And I was just like, whosoever will, let them come. Like I was already walking Jesus walk, and I didn't even know it.
Not the Jesus walk.
I didn't even know I was walking the way of the Lord. I was just being friendly, like, what's wrong with you? Why you singing by yourself? And that's how it would start. And before I knew it, I had a little Motley Crew, baby. We was the Motley Crew. Could nobody say nothing to us. And I was the loudest one in the group. But we was just all cool with each other. So it was just funny to hear your journey.
But this is the weird part about it. A lot of my weird, unusual friends, let's forward 20 years, most of them are doing extremely well, nice families.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys, if I call his name out, I mean, all of Facebook will know who I'm talking about, man. Him and his wife are doing extremely well, and it's just not just him, but most of my friends are doing great. That little weird group, us who were different, and that's where it's at. But it's just funny, and we building our company with that same platform, like whosoever will type of thing, and love on them where they are, and not trying to change them to make them fit what we perceive that they should be like for whatever reason. And so it's just unique. Nah, we don't. I try to fit the church crew. I don't completely fit with them. When I was in the work, trying to be in the world, I use the word trying to be. And I'm not gonna lie, there was moments I did enjoy myself, because you can't be out there and not enjoy yourself. Let's be honest. I didn't fit in. Matter of fact, me and my homegirl was talking about one night we was at the club, and so I always been a leader. I started them clubbing, and then all of a sudden I stopped. I wasn't even back in the church, nothing. I had them clubbing, and I'm going to the club. I took them to the club. Like, yo, we can go.
Dana, what did you do in the club? Because you don't be dancing and stuff.
I held the wall. I held the wall, but
okay then.
But it's like you just had your drink in your hand, and you may do a little move here and there, and then you just keep on walking.
You look good. You look the part.
Yeah, I can look the part. I can
Baby,
look
because
just
I was
just
breaking
about
my
this
back
much
on
right
them
here.
floors, baby. I was breaking my back. I'm breaking my back on them floors, baby.
But Joe, check this out. Check this out. I remember one day, I told my pastor this story. We was at the club, and I don't know how we got in a conversation. A question was asked, well, all this music blasted about God. I had my drink in my hand,
Talking.
talking. They got questions, and then me and this other person start dialoguing about things and start exchanging information. Before I knew it, like people was coming off the dance floor,
You
surrounding us while we had a conversation. Yeah, and so I'm having a conversation about God in the club with my drink in my hand. This is facts. And so my friend, I'm not gonna call her name out. We was talking about this just the other day, and she came over and she jacked me up. She said, "I can't never take you nowhere without you always gonna bring church into the conversation."
and he's still like that, child. He ain't changed. I
And
be like,
so,
sir, be normal. But that's his norm, and I think that's what's so good about even what we doing, to understand that everybody norm is different and it's okay. Like,
that's
just
it.
because we're not the same doesn't mean something's wrong with you. And we were
Yeah.
made to feel that way in many, many instances. Like, something was wrong with you. Why are you like that?
You
And
know
come to
what?
find out, it's just part of our
Just
giftings. It's,
it is. And I
because the Bible says, come on, let's go to the Bible. The Bible
yes,
says there are many members, one body.
one body.
And if we're all a hand, then we're gonna be clapping to death and not going nowhere, just standing still clapping.
It's
So we ain't got no feet, no legs, none of that. Can't see, just all these issues. So you
And Joe,
know,
at 42, and I love saying my age now because at one point in time I held to 25 for the longest,
not
even with gray on my
25.
face. Yeah, 25.
Not
At
25. Yeah.
42, I'm now accepting me and loving me more than ever.
Come on,
And so this is,
me.
and she said it, your normal is different from someone else's normal, but that's the beauty of life. Because if everyone was the same, and that's what the Bible was basically saying, if everyone was the same, there will be no progression because you have nothing to connect to keep pushing you forward. And so that's our tidbit. We definitely got to move on. So now we're at a
Yes.
point, we're still studying the system and how to learn how to do things. And I'm learning. I sent Joe the link the other day. And I'm like, look, we're gonna help
Praise
each other
God.
out because it's an hour and 20 minutes of information. And I'm like, I'm already going to school online and looking at videos
And I'm
reading
going to
stuff.
school.
Yes,
Yeah, I
and
ain't
she
tell you that I'm in school. So praise
yeah,
God.
and she in school. So it's like, look, we're gonna help each other out. Now, what you learn, you teach me out the video, and what I learn, I teach you out the video. And
Baby, we gonna pull a color purple, and I'm gonna put all the signs and stuff on the stocking. STO
look,
JING.
tape right here. What they say? MISTER, Mister.
Period.
So,
Yeah, we gonna be pulling color purples around here. We're gonna have everything labeled, baby. Sky, earn, earn, baby. We gonna be earn.
And so,
John. Okay, I had to get it out.
I had a flashback. I'm sorry. This is like, when we started talking about color purple, I just thought about my grandma. Okay, and Jodisha and my grandma are birthday twins. And if my grandma would have lived, she would have lived to be 101 years old.
Wow.
Beautiful woman, and loved her dearly. And one of her favorite movies was The Color Purple. And so when she would talk, I had to catch myself, like, okay, hey, D, okay, man up, let's go.
So that's my favorite movie, y'all. If y'all don't know,
Yeah, that's mine. I love The Color Purple. The Color Purple. So this is where we are. We're about to get the radio started, and and we pushing forward. And Janisha's gonna be one of our DJs.
Thicky, late night on the Soul Train. Hey,
Yeah,
hey.
yeah, she's gonna be the one y'all when the Saints, during the daytime, we want to listen to Rick Adilla, I Come to Give You Life, and Hezekiah Walker, and maybe a little Tasha Cobb or Maverick City. But at night, we want to be a little more mellow than that. And so we're going to have some
Yes, and we're gonna pull out some
indie,
Molly music, baby.
Molly
Some
music, and
Jonathan
all of
Rivers.
them. Yeah, Jonathan
All
Rivers. Just
them.
some just to chill out, And that's what we're going to do. And so she's going to be different spearheading it. And that's going to be her niche. Praise God. And guess what mine is going to be? Podcasting. Doing interviews with people, sitting just
Talk
chilling,
radio.
talking. Yeah, that's going to be me. We still going to be doing the Conversation podcast together from a different space and whatever case may be. But on my end, I'm gonna be branched off just a little because I'm be dealing with some heavy issues, like heavy issues, and bringing people into that space. Joe is my spiritual. Let me get you to pray, but at the same time, I'm gonna teach you how to thug it out. So that's my sister, yo. So here we are. We talk about all the transition to history of Rare Image and the funny stories behind it all, and how Rare Image is a reflection of who we are and who God has made us to be, and that unapologetically. Now we're at this space where we're going to be celebrating on the 26th at IMI Inspiring Ministries. Apostle Eric Newble and teacher Rebecca Newble. We're going to be celebrating in their space. And I want to say, Apostle Newble, I appreciate you to the fullest. Let us use the building. Thank you so very much. Awesome. Joe, we already got somebody who already want to pay for a spot on the radio.
What?
Yeah, but I try to give it to them freely because of our connection and their constant support of Rare Image. And they looked at me, it was like, while I was packing up my stuff, they was like, nope, this is going to be our way of sowing into you. Now, I'm going to tell your name later, but it was like, you ain't got to, because you have done so much already. You already sold it to the company.
Yeah.
You have already blessed us individually and things like that. So no, we're going to be paying for a spot. So I'll tell you about that later. I'll tell you. I do see revenue coming in and all those things. So we're going to be celebrating, and I'm going to be honest with you all. I love Jesus. I love everything to do with praise and worship. I wanted this to be a party. No drinking, nothing like that, but just, some good vibing music, and we just enjoying ourselves.
I might have to be DJ that night, you know what I'm saying? To help the people.
Yeah, so we're not going to be like that type of, we want you to come in and be semi-formal. It's not a serious formal thing. Just come and look nice. We'll take a little pictures here and there and all that type of stuff, and that's what we're going to be. And I want to shout out to New Abundant Life Church Pastor Albert and Suzanne Simpson, my leaders. They have supported us from the jump.
Yes, honey.
From
regulars. That's what I'm going to say. They're regulars.
And always inquisitive about our company and always giving us nuggets and pouring into us. Hey, you need to try this, work on this, work on that. I need you to look into this. This is going to further your business, and giving me great ideas. So Pastor Simmons, I appreciate you and Mom Simmons to the fullest. And I can't go, I'm doing a lot of talking tonight. I can't go, and I'm not the one to do a lot of talking. I can't go without saying to my other sister, and especially my mom, who gets on here every time we on here. Now she
Yeah.
might go off in the comment section, but she's supporting her baby boy. And she calls me every Friday, and sometimes 3 times, and be like, "Now you coming on tonight, right?" And then she say, "I gotta call some people." So, Mom, I want to say I appreciate you. I'm gonna call my other sister's name out, Tawana Morgan. I appreciate you. Michael Green, bro, thank you. I appreciate you. Monet, love you, sis.
That is the company chef.
Yes. You might taste some of her food.
She does meal prep, you guys.
Yeah.
Holler at us. We can get y'all hooked up. Some y'all trying to get y'all body together. Baby, she meal prep for you.
She does a great job. She did this some type of squash dressing. I don't never heard it. I don't even eat squash.
But she did not do no squash dressing.
She told me it was dressing.
No, she did. She did carrots and squash sweet potatoes.
So what was the dressing thing? She said it really wasn't.
It was
whatever it was fire.
Yeah,
it was fire.
It wasn't made from like regular bread.
It was good. If she would threw it on my plate, I would never knew the difference.
But it was fat.
So this is the reason why I'm doing a whole lot of talking, because I'm trying to get this individual to be prepared for the 1,000,001 questions I'm going to ask, because many of you want to know why. Why is Jonisha leaving, and why she's going where she's going?
Mm-hmm.
What makes that city, that state, or that state period, the place she want to be? So we're about to dive into that conversation with Jonisha. And it might be a little lengthy, but it's definitely going to be good. So let's go into this. Picture it. 2005. Sitting in your apartment over there in Arlington Heights. And you said, I'm moving to North Carolina.
And I didn't even remember that.
And she gave me a history lesson, and she said, well, North Carolina and Tennessee used to be one territory, and then they split and formed 2 states. And I was like, I did not know that. And I did look into it. Tennessee was a territory of North Carolina at one point. And so she's like, I'm moving there. And she was talking about something Apostle Newell had mentioned. He had prophesied to North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And spoke, something going to happen in North Carolina. Now the details I can't remember. That happened in 2005.
He was talking about another branch of our church being in North Carolina. He saw North Carolina.
And Joe said, I'm moving to North Carolina. And so I was in my little space in life. I'm like, okay. She's sitting there, and we was like in our most struggling moments. And I think I had made some mashed potatoes out of a box of mashed potatoes that we got from your grandma.
Commodity.
Yeah.
Commodity, baby.
And we both were struggling and sitting there with a bowl of mashed potatoes talking about, I'm going to North Carolina. She didn't remember that.
I did. I'm laughing because our meal that it was so randomly made up. It was, baby. Okay, go back to the question.
This is completely history to making. So during the pandemic, you told me that you was in prayer. You was talking to God about some life changes. Mm-hmm. So talk to the public about those life changes so we can understand what was the foundation of what was going on at that time.
Wow. During the pandemic, everything was shut down. We were not now shut in the house, and it forced you to like evaluate your entire life. Like, what have you done with it? And even down to ministry, like, have you transformed any? Is what you've been saying your life? Are you following that pattern? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? And just doing some, reevaluating. I think we had just got over COVID, and there was a whole real experience. And I was just like, okay, God, what do you want for my life? Like, it's got to be more than, because I always felt like I was called to travel. I mean, prophesied to over and over. I see you traveling all across the world. And I'm like, I'm still in Jackson. Like, this is completely different. And during the pandemic, God really showed me during that time, like, just like Paul, a lot of times he wrote those letters from jail. And he was like, listen, I can take you wherever, all across the globe, sit right here. And literally, he had brought me to a space to where I was all across the globe, sitting in my living room, on the internet. And he was like, stop being closed-minded. And so once that transition went, I began to just pray for God's will for my life. Okay, God, what do you want me to do? The beginning of the year of 2021 hit, because we closed down like March of 2021, right? Or was it 2020?
March of 2020.
Yeah, we closed down March. So the beginning of 2021, all of a sudden, my sister was like, I call her Beethoven, because when she's crunching numbers, like, it's a million pieces of paper on the floor and it's just numbers. And I was like, what is all this? What's going on? She's like, I gotta figure out my plan because you finna move soon. What? What are you talking about? Look, I don't know what you people are talking about. Moving soon. That same day, my best friend from Alabama called and said, if you wanted to move, what state would you want to move to? What is wrong with you guys? What are y'all? Have y'all had a conversation? Are y'all talking or something? Because y'all are asking me about these things that I have no thoughts of. I had just really settled in the fact, okay, I'm in Medina, and Medina is a beautiful place to live. And I just had to take a deep breath on that because I had so many aspirations and desires that I felt like needed to happen outside of Tennessee till I did not enjoy Tennessee at all. Okay. I was just like, I'm ready to go. This is not where I'm supposed to be. And I was miserable, guys, until these last, I'll say, probably the last 3 years of me living here in Medina. I finally like, this is home, and took a deep breath. And now people are talking about me moving. What is wrong with you guys? 2 months after that, some people were moving out of town. I had all my stuff in storage because, mind you, I was only supposed to be living with my sister for 2 months and ended up being here for 6 years. And that's another podcast for another day. But I had my stuff in storage. I was paying storage, and there was a family that was moving from out of the city. And they came from another state, and they didn't have any furniture. And so my cousin was like, would you want to sell your furniture? I was like, well, yeah, I mean, that'll keep me from paying storage. They didn't come and get it. So my cousin that asked me about it was like, well, how much would you sell it to me for? And I quoted her a price. And when I hung up, I said, give it to her. And I called her back. I was like, hey, what you doing tomorrow? She was like, nothing. I said, I'm going to open up my stores. You take what you want. Baby, when I tell you she took everything but my books. She took the dishes, I had new furniture because before I moved out of my place, I had income tax. Okay, I had just bought some new furniture, so everything was new, and so she literally got new stuff. And after I gave her that stuff, that next month I had a dream, and when I woke up, I heard North Carolina like echo loud, and I was like, literally, I'm waking up like, what about North Carolina? He said, it's time to go. And I said, I don't know nothing about North Carolina. What you mean? What is it? He said, study it. And so from that moment to this, I started doing research about the cities in North Carolina, the atmosphere, crime, housing, economics. Like I started just researching it. And so that's literally how it happened. I don't even remember 2005. Like,
Well, 2005 was a pivotal year for me. A lot of things that happened in that year. I don't know if you remember. That's the year my bishop had died.
yes, I remember. I do. There's a lot of
Died,
different things.
yeah, died that a day before my birthday. Matter of fact, I was turning 25 the day after when he passed away. Um, that same year, a couple months later, I walked away from the church completely. Had nothing to do with his death. So I don't want nobody to think I'm equating to that. But I walked away from the church completely. So my life was like that. And so money was tight. It was a pivotal moment for me. I tell people
And you
that,
moved with me.
yeah, I moved in with you a couple months after a particular situation happened.
Yeah.
I had to pay Uncle Sam back. I didn't have any finances at all. My sister, literally, I can't say she was my caregiver, but somehow or another, she made sure I ate. Now I don't know how I got to work back and forth, gas in my car, but somehow it was. So that's the reason why I remember that, because so much was going on. At the same time, Cheryl was dealing with her situation. I remember the kids, they were so much younger at the time, and so I remember all of that. When I tell y'all, those were some great moments.
Yes.
Though,
Baby, that little one bedroom and out to the house on the second floor, baby, with 10 steps going into the living room.
we
Baby.
learned each other.
Yes.
Because honestly, it was that moment that bind us together. We learned each other. She learned my temperaments. I learned her temperaments. I learned what caused her to be moody. She learned what caused me to be moody. We learned. I mean, it was a building moment.
It was.
And she said, if that situation would have never happened, we probably wouldn't be as close as we are right now.
That's so true. It's almost like he put us in a space to grow up with each other.
Yeah. She had to learn. I had to learn what it's funny because I'm telling you, I'm thinking while I'm talking, and I had to learn how to be a big brother, if that make any sense at all. We didn't grow up around each other, so I just knew Jonisha, my sister. She knew me as Darnell, her brother. And for a lot of reasons, we never connect. The relationship never built strong. But at that moment, those moments, a lot of great things happen. And so that's the reason why I remember that conversation there, because that's when I realized you like to be up all night long. And I'm trying to stay awake, because I'm doing this right here. And you literally
right now. Y'all pray for my husband right now, because heaven help if he's an early morning person. Because my brother be like, Joe, you don't talk before 12, and I'm looking at him like, why are you talking so much? No.
Oh, yeah, she did tell me one morning. I got up and I was just like, oh, just happy, whatever. Hey, good morning. How you doing this morning? And she she just literally, this was her words. I never forget. She said, would you just please shut up? Just shut up. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? And she like, who gets up in the morning and be that energetic? I'm like, I slept good. That's what happened. So that's the reason why I remember that so vividly, because I remember sitting on the couch, like I said, we was eating on some mashed potatoes. She had some butter, salt, and pepper, because that's all she had at that moment. And we made it work. And I remember the conversation up to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I had to be at work at 7 in the morning. I don't know how I made it on time. She nudged me. So the process, Okay, I remember when you revealed to us that you was moving and you moved to North Carolina. I never doubted that you was moving, but I didn't think it was going to be this year. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like I know you said, okay, I'm moving this year, but I was like, maybe 2023. And part of that reason was like there's a lot that was going on. We just started a company. Family issues started rising, and Papa had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So much was happening at it's just crazy moments. I'm like, okay, surely it's not gonna be right now, and I remember her praying and talking to me. She's like, I'm moving. And she called me one day. She said, I prayed about it, the Lord gave me a date. Y'all, when I tell you it hit home, it hit home. And I said, these are two major events that I'm experiencing now. Like my other sister got married on us. And I was gonna be the first one to get married and this whatever. And then I'm gonna be the first one to move away from Tennessee. I'm leaving. You remember I was supposed to be going to Texas. And she leaving. And I'm like, God, so fast forward to all of this. Remember when you literally start making strides to get to North Carolina? Let's talk about that. Because there were some depressing moments.
Jesus, first of all, when he told me to go to North Carolina, he didn't tell me a city. He didn't tell me what part. He just said North Carolina. So I didn't even really take God serious. I'm just gonna be honest. I didn't really take God serious all the way. When he said, I'm just like, I feel the nudge to move to North Carolina, and I was saying it out loud to convince myself. But it got realer towards the end of the year, and I was like, oh no, there's a push. You're going soon. So I still didn't really have a date. The passing of my grandfather was almost okay, you can go now. Because a lot of my staying around was because my grandparents are very, very old and they raised me. And I always wanted to make sure to be there for them, And one of the things my granddaddy said before, because he got to a point where he really couldn't talk and he really couldn't see. But before he got to that space, he was just like, live your life. Live your life. Live your best life. And, it made me think what is my life? What is a good life to me? And I told Dad, I think I'm moving. He was like, whatever you do, seek the Lord about it. And then a little bit after that, he couldn't talk or anything like that. But it was his death was okay, now it's time. And so I prayed. I'm like, God, I'm getting frantic here because I feel this urge. I don't know what city I'm going to. You ain't gave me no city. I can't keep telling folks the Lord told me to go out. You know where the heck I'm going, Lord. This is just foolish. But then he gave me the scripture. Remember, it's the foolish things that confound the wise. And you're not wiser than me.
That's right.
And I'm like, okay, God, I'm trying to trust you. I'm really trying to trust you. And I was on TikTok. Out of all things videos, I was on TikTok, and a lady was like, hey guys, I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. The rent is going up here. Can y'all give me a list of cities in North Carolina with better rent? And literally that list that was on TikTok, I went through those people's list and I started researching these cities, and 3 cities pressed upon me. I was looking at Greensboro, I was looking at Raleigh, and I think I was looking at Durham. Well, then I started looking at the crime rate in different places. I was like, oh no, mark out. Oh no, mark out. And then at my job, I'm just a customer service rep. I don't control what number I answer, what city it's coming from. Literally, the closer it got to the end of the month, my entire call log of the answers I was getting were from North Carolina and South Carolina. Got in contact with a couple of my customers that were CEOs of hospitals in South Carolina. And it was just like ching, ching, ching. I'm like, what in the world is going on? So then I'm on Facebook, and one of my old classmates is saying, North Carolina don't owe me nothing. I had a great time here. And I said, okay, wow, where you know, so I called her. Hadn't seen her in 20 years. I called her, I said, you moved from Jackson? Oh yeah, I live in Greensboro. I said, I'm supposed to move to North Carolina. I bet you won't come to the GSO. And from that moment, that young lady have FaceTime, scouted, like they sent the spies out to Canaan land. She done spied out land for me, looked at apartments, like just so helpful. Just absolutely so helpful. So literally, things came together without me. And the moments that I didn't believe or just like, really, it just still moved in its place. It was like God was showing me He don't need me. He just need me to say I go. And so He literally shifted things in place. Unbeknownst to me, y'all, I ain't got nothing to do with it. Really. I keep telling people, yeah, I really ain't got nothing to do with this. The most I had to do was find a place to live. And really, God knew to do stuff the way He did it because that was stressful enough. You know, you put in applications and stuff, and people are just finding the weirdest reasons to deny you.
Yeah.
And I'm going into this in my mind. You know, you try to process things in your own mind. And He said, "You're excited all about Greensboro, but I didn't actually say that city. That's just a place where you knew somebody." He said, "Go outside, just like you're outside of the in crowd. Go outside." And y'all, the second place I looked at outside of the city, I'm not gonna name my city on here because I don't need no stalkers. I don't know these people. But
Butter
it is 30 minutes from Greensboro. But
45 minutes from Raleigh, right?
yeah, and I mean right in the middle. Right in the middle. 45 minutes from Charlotte. An hour and a half from South Carolina. Like all those places. I'm right there in the middle of all the smack dab in the middle. And He said, you know, it's the place of peace. And you're surrounded by these because you're going to affect these places, but you're right where I need you to be. And y'all, when I tell you, even down to the amount I said from the beginning I need to pay, I was about to settle because the process is so tedious, long, and hard for me. Because I'm like, okay, God, if you said it, it should be like, no, He didn't say that. He didn't say that part. He didn't say you had to do no work. He said faith without work is dead. He didn't say you had to do no work. He just said, you got to have faith. And so I got the price that I needed. Home is beautiful. Like I'm gonna give y'all a little tour, praise God. And I got favor with the landlord. Like the landlord duoed me and walked me through my apartment because the weather was so crazy here. I was unable to get there. And my family was worried about, what if you paid these people and it ain't no real apartment, or the apartment nasty, or you just don't know. You just go in there and apply. I said, but if the Lord said go and He fixed it up, I don't think He gonna give me nothing crazy.
He would.
And y'all, I'm telling you, the landlord FaceTime. I just had to go through that whole little story of how that came about, but the landlord duoed me. And she said, oh yeah, I'll walk you through. Y'all, anybody know me? Okay, in case you don't know, for those people that don't know me, I have always had a fear of tubs. because I used to fall all the time. My brother, for a birthday present, I don't even know if he remember this, but for a birthday present, he got me a tub mat to stick to the bottom of it so I wouldn't be afraid. Oh, I'm about to cry. He got me a mat.
Don't start now. Don't start now, Joe. Don't start.
He got me a mat so that I wouldn't be afraid. Because I used to fall so often because my legs were so off kilter. So I always slip in the tub and fall and hurt myself. So he got me a mat. And so even with that, it's amazing that God cares so much about me. He even recognized my fears and my issues. Because when I tell you this apartment, down to the cabinetry, the lady says, hey, this apartment used to be handicapped, but we upgraded it. So the cabinets are a little lower. And
She's
this,
short, y'all. She needs.
I'm 5'2", okay? So that was perfect for me.
Yes.
And then she said, oh yeah, the bathroom, because it was handicapped accessible, it doesn't have a tub. It has a walk-in shower with a stool and a detachable
Shower head. Yeah.
I said, ma'am, that is perfect because I don't like tubs. That is so perfect for me. And y'all, I am just outdone, and I'm outdone at things, and just how, I mean, it was like everything was like laid out on a plate for me, even in my transition. Like, she wrote down, now, you don't know apartments that do this. She literally wrote down everything I needed. She said, do you work from home? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, well, here's the internet company that our apartment uses, and here's the company that supplies your washer and dryer stackables in the apartment. Like, she listed, here's the light utility place. Like, even, I'll be honest, even in Jackson in Section 8, I've been on Section 8, I've been on housing, and I'm saying this as a testimony. I've been on all that. They didn't give you no list. You had to find your way to do what you need to do.
Yep.
And this woman listed our names, numbers, and I didn't even have to call the people. People called me and said, hi, welcome to North Carolina. I heard you're moving here in our city, and you need internet service, right? They told me you work from home and our best internet service, da da da. We can get you internet service $25 a month. Okay. Yeah, and you'll just get, free cable for probably about a week to 3 weeks. Okay. Then the appliance company called. We heard you moved to North Carolina. Welcome to North Carolina. We provide your stackable washer and dryer. Just let us know what day we need to be there. What day you moving in. Da da da. Get the information. I'm like, okay. I called the utility place just to get a quote. Welcome to North Carolina. Thank you. I'm not there yet, but thank you. Oh yeah, we just wanted to give you a quote. To start your lights, it'll be $160. $10 hookup fee. Y'all, in Jackson, I paid $350 deposit. So it was like, okay. Y'all, I remember I didn't have no furniture. None. When I tell you furniture came to me, a whole bed with matching chest of drawers and just, y'all, $200 include mattresses. Like, certain stuff you just can't. It's like, okay.
I remember, because you're not giving a whole lot of details, but I'm gonna kind of bring some detail to everybody. Like, So I remember you sharing with me. You said, "Hey brother, guess what God spoke to me?" I'm like, "Okay." And she was like, "The Lord spoke to me, and He showed me that when I moved to North Carolina, that I'm going to walk in my home with brand new furniture." And so I'm a supporter, brother. Like, with glory be to God. Thank you, Jesus. I believe it with you. That's me.
Yeah.
That's me. And so, like, as time progressed, I was looking at some furniture, and I was like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And the reason why I brought this part right here in, because oftentimes in our faith walk, or when we believe the Lord has said something to us, there are moments where we question what is said. It doesn't mean that you don't believe that God can. But the question is, will it be for me?
Listen,
So I
listen.
remember you like struggling there. And then now I'm looking at, hey, I just got a phone call. Somebody called me and asked me, "Do you have any dishes?" I'm like, "No, I'm just gonna eat up some paper plates and microwave." I'm just making that part up. She didn't say that part, but that's how it was gonna be. Trust me. And they'll be like, "Hey, so I'm just making up. I'm not gonna tell what's what, but I'm making up this part right here. Hey, we was cleaning out our garage, and we noticed that we had a box of dishes that's never been opened, a box of pans that never been opened." I'm telling y'all, this is
I
type of stuff
receive
that
it.
Jalisha's experiencing. I'm using dishes for example, but
I
that
take the
stuff that's
dishes
going
too.
on.
I I take it too.
I'm telling you, like, God is really, really blowing her mind, like, with so
Y'all,
much.
y'all. I'm telling you. And him saying that, God also spoke to me that my house is gonna be the oasis. And I saw 2 or 3 bedroom. Y'all, when I was looking at apartments, a 1 bedroom was like 1,000. And y'all, I have a 2 bedroom for not 1,000. Not 1,000. Nowhere near 1,000. And
Bruh,
I'm
I'm
just
telling
like,
you, God really blew her mind, and because she was really trying to get to this one particular city. She's trying her best, and I remember being over to her house one day. I'm sorry, y'all, for looking down, and I'm gonna show you why I'm looking down after it's all over with. I remember being in the house one day, and we was handling our company's business, and she got a phone call while we was handling our company business, telling her she did not get approved for the apartment. She was like, "Man, when I tell you this apartment was fine, all the bells and whistles, I'm talking about everything that you wanted." And I remember hugging my sister and just comforting her. And she was like, "Brother," she's like, "I just don't know." She said, "But this was encouraging to me." She said, "But if God said it, God got to provide it." And that's the first time I ever saw her like literally suck up her tears. Cause y'all gotta know when my sister cried, she cries. She cries. Ain't no,
I go
no, ain't
in,
no,
baby. I
she
go
goes in.
in.
She cried for a short moment. She sucked up and she's like, "If God said it, I gotta trust him." And she stopped crying. And then a week later,
A
she
week.
called me. She was
1
blowing
week.
my phone up. She's like, she texted me like, "Hey, you need to call me. You need to call me." And when she told me about the apartment that came up, and when I tell you, I'm like,
Cheaper. Much cheaper.
much cheaper. I'm gonna say this,
More
almost four
two
hundred dollars
bedrooms.
cheaper. Almost $400 cheaper, and more space, and more bedrooms, and still got some of the amenities that she wanted. Now, so let me show you what I'm looking at right here. One of my participants had given me a bracelet. Um, he got a situation going on. I'm gonna hold it up because I thought I held it up. And look at this. Never give up. Never give in. His initials on here, JED. And unique situation, has a rare disease. Matter of fact, at this moment, he is the oldest living person with this rare disease.
Wow.
The oldest. And and the reason why I was looking down as Jodisha was talking about her transitions and moments of disappointments, and she was kind of glossing things over for the sake of time.
Yeah.
But if she could tell you the nitty gritty of things, you'll be sitting there like, child, I would just walked away because she's living comfortable where she's at. It could be comfortable for the next 10 years.
Yes.
But she trusted God as she was talking, and all the frustration she was experiencing. I'm looking down at this bracelet, never giving up. She never gave in.
Wow.
Even through moments of questioning what she believed was her purpose and what she believed God was saying. So tonight's show really was dealing with the transition of how everything was moving.
Yeah.
And I wanted to end it with this, what I took off my wrist, to show you that her faith moved her from where she was to where she's headed because she refused to give up. She refused to give in. Look, we've been on here for an hour and 20 minutes. This is longer than ever.
I know. That's why I was just like, I can't go too long, but I do want to encourage someone who God has made a promise, and because I want people to be aware of, there will be familiar sightings that will cause you to want to retreat. Because when I tell you, part of what I didn't say was my move here in Medina originally was only supposed to be for 2 weeks. I've been here for 6 years. I didn't lose. I had to move out because my apartment was infested with mold. And I'll never forget it. When I got my new place in Bolivar, I went live on Facebook and I walked everybody through the brand new apartment that nobody ever lived in, all the amenities, took a picture in front of it, to God be the glory, was approved. And I had people packing up my house, the trucks loaded, got to the place to get my keys so I could turn on my lights. And they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, something happened, but you wasn't approved." And I had to back up and have all these moving trucks turn around and go to a storage unit. And I had to move with my sister. And I was in like a state of depression probably for about a year. It was a whole year of depression because I was just like, you put me in this place. And it was not even months after she ended up having a bad wreck that almost paralyzed her. She was in the hospital for a month and then a recovery for months after that. So it ended up being God. But I want to say this because when I got ready to move, this time, that same familiar place almost made me retreat, because the place I have now, that when they approved me, I still had doubts because this has happened before. And so I called us. I just wanted to make sure, you said I was approved in the email, but I just wanted to make sure, because if I get down there and you say, "Oh, I made a mistake," I can't turn around and go 8 hours. Like, I need to make sure. And she was like, "Oh, okay, well, let me look at your check stubs again." And when she looked at my check stubs again, she was just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I must have miscalculated. You make too much." Say what? No way. I don't make, because these apartments I'm moving in are income based, and you can't make over a certain amount. I was like, I don't make over that amount. Well, you'll need to go through. You have to get your job to sign saying you don't make whatever your yearly thing is. And I was like, okay. And let me tell you what the enemy would do. He will present a way to find a way to accuse you of things, because she called me to the side and was like, well, I don't care who signs it. You could just fill out the paper. I don't care who signs it. And for a split second, I thought about cheating and just getting somebody to sign it and turning it in. But I remember part of my class, the school I went to, was talking about how one of the things that had been revealed to me was every time I tried to move forward with something, familiar spirits would come and discourage me to move back. And the enemy wants to find something to accuse you. Now, at this moment, with me leaving, I've done nothing wrong for him to try to play with me and say, well, you should move because of this, you should move because of that. He don't have anything on me. But if I had cheated at that moment, I perhaps could have forfeited a place that God called my promise. And so I decided not to cheat, went through a whole bunch of hoops, and they told me it'll be 2 or 3 days before they get that paper back. I said, ma'am, I don't have 2 or 3 days. I have some hours. And what normally would take 2 or 3 days took 3 hours. 3 hours to get that paper back to that lady, and for them to say, yes, ma'am, you are approved. We got the paperwork in. This is all we need. So I say that to encourage you to say, know that when it's time for you to move forward and God has spoken to you, don't let no familiar thing come to you and discourage you, because I really could have just said, you know what, forget it. It's just like last time. I get ready to go somewhere, and I could have just gave up at that moment. But something in me wouldn't let. And because I was aware of my surroundings and understood, this is not what it looks like. Let me look at this from a different space. So if God promised you some things, know that the enemy is going to come with an ulterior motive. He's going to come with you with an ulterior plan because he don't want you to move forward. But I want you to always be clean with God. Be clean, be clear in your heart and in your mind. Say, hey, God, I don't know what this is, but show me what to do next. He will show you what to do. There's going to be a strategic plan and placement, and it's going to defeat, and you're going to win. And so I just had to encourage somebody who perhaps is in the state of right now, moving forward, and they say, okay, you're denied, and you have to turn around and put everything in storage in your heart. You had to put things in storage. That doesn't mean it's not for you. That means he has to groom you for a place so that you can obtain and tame the place. Because honestly, if you had told me to go to North Carolina the year that I tried to move, or even if he had to put me in that apartment that I was trying to go to, I think my life would be completely different. And I wouldn't be ready for this transition. And I don't even know if any of the transitions I've had in these past 6 years would have happened, including my ordination. So God knows what he's doing, guys, for sure.
He does. Hey, here it is. The conversation that needed to be had with Jo, who's about to transition. I don't like the word transition. She's going to another level.
Yes, let's go to another level, because you make me sound like I'm going to the upper yonder.
Yeah.
The upper room. I ain't going to the upper room.
Yeah, there's a movement taking place in her life, and I said this to her. I'm not the one that goes around and say, I believe the God talks. I said to her, I said, Jo, I said, your moving is a signaling for other people to take another direction. I'm like, you are the sign. That's what I said. I said, you are the sign, which is signaling people to go to another direction. And she's like, you think so? I'm like, yeah. I said, have you ever thought that one day you will be the sign? Because now there's conversations that's being had about doing something different outside of the comfort zone. Why? Because anybody who knows Jo hate being uncomfortable. She hate being uncomfortable. And this is going to be new. Learning new people, learning a new city, learning a new culture. Every state has their own culture, and even within the state culture, there's subcultures, and you got to learn all of that. East Tennessee operates different from West Tennessee. Middle Tennessee is a whole different ball game. Same way with North Carolina, and I'm excited about her move. People ask me questions. Do you think she should go? I'm like, she grown, and she said she heard from God. Hey, but I did tell her this. I told my sister this. I'm like, if it don't work out, you always have home to come to. That's it. I'm gonna put her in my room. I take the studio, put me a little air mattress there. I doubt that, but I'm just saying. But I told her, and I said it jokingly. I said, "Look, no, this part's gonna be true. I'm gonna be visiting her every 3 months, so I'm gonna have frequent flyer miles. She gonna be picking me up from the airport. She probably like, boy, you got to pay this gas." But anyway, I'm excited about her move. I'm really excited about it. And Joe, let's do this. Like from this point on, let's just show up just randomly on Facebook together so people can see your transition and what's going on. Well, let's take our partners along with us through this journey.
Yeah.
That's going on. All right. Good people, we do love you. And this has been a lengthy conversation, and it was meant to be lengthy because the uniqueness of the situation. We love you all. And Joe basically is going to prophesy to you all. So we're not going to end with prayer tonight. We're going to end with prayer on the last Saturday of the month. That's going to be our conclusion of everything. So we love you all. And hey, be easy. God bless. We'll see you all next Friday. Love you all.
Thank you.